Morning, guys. Got my tea. Oh, let's pause the TV. So I'm only just haven't been awake long. I'm a bit numb, but I got my tea. Gonna make a coffee in a minute. So morning to you. It's Louis in the UK, and it's very early in the morning. It's 7:20. I've probably got an hour if I'm lucky before the kids come down, maybe less actually. So I'm warning you guys, the kids are going to come down. I'm a bit puffy, so I haven't woke up properly. So it's another Priscilla video, and I keep bringing up Priscilla, and I'm trying to be careful because I don't want this to be a Priscilla hater channel. So I'm trying to get that balance where we are being critical, so we have the right to express how we feel, because obviously many fans are very upset with Priscilla. But I'm also trying to do it in a way where I don't come across mean and nasty. That's definitely not what I'm trying to do. But ultimately, I have to do it to defend Elvis, because every time I watch an interview with Priscilla, it will be going along nicely and she'll be saying nice things, about how talented he is and how great he looked and how everyone loved him and how fun he was. But then the comments come in. So the interviewer will say something negative, and rather than disagreeing with him, she goes along with it and says, well, yes, it was terrible for me. Or one of the big things we were talking about yesterday was this horrible lie that goes around that says Elvis wouldn't sleep with a woman that had a baby. This is a massive lie. So I'm trying to prove it. And I just got a few clips on here, which I'm going to show you in a second, guys. But I started asking myself this morning when I woke up, and I was going through these different clips with Priscilla Presley. And I was thinking, why does everyone look to Priscilla for information about Elvis? Why has she become the authority in Elvis Presley? So anyone that wants to know about Elvis, they go through Priscilla Presley. And I sort of understand, because they don't really have much choice, do they? You think about it, that other than the Memphis Mafia and ex-girlfriends, people that Elvis worked with, and Priscilla, obviously Lisa Marie Presley has now passed, so she can't say the truth about Elvis. So Priscilla has sort of cornered herself into a position where she is the authority in talking about Elvis. This is so unfair, because did Priscilla really know the true Elvis? Did she really know him? Could she really go back to Mississippi Tupelo and really know the kind of boy that Elvis was in the early 50s with his mother and father in the house on Old Sotillo Road? I don't think, unless you were his friends back then, and there are a few. Sam Bell is one of them, but there's a few other friends that have interviews on YouTube that were friends with Elvis, that knew the real Elvis, the true Elvis, before fame. And it's those kind of people that knew the true Elvis. And if you go back and watch their interviews, you've only got to Google Elvis's first friends, and it comes up. Then you've got Dixie Locke, his first proper girlfriend. These are the people that knew Elvis properly. And they can tell you how kind he was, how charming he was, how sweet he was, how generous he was, how much fun he was. Because they were there before all this fame, before it was discovered. he had this beautiful talent. And I would say as he blossomed into a very handsome man, even before that, he was just a very sweet boy. And there's that story of the woman going into the corner shop, and she wanted to have her film developed in her camera, and she needed to take one more picture, and Elvis was outside on his bike. So there was this sweet boy. She didn't know it was Elvis Presley. She says to the boy, "Can I take your picture so that I can use up my film so I can take it into the shop to be developed?" I think it was a Kodak. And this lovely, sweet boy, who was probably only a teenager, "Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am." And she took his picture. Little did she know, years later, she discovered this picture in a box. Let me just see it. Let's just see if it comes up. And years later, there it is. Little did she know, guys, that that sweet boy outside this corner shop that obligingly agreed to have the picture taken was Elvis Presley. And she gave this picture to the family. She didn't want no money. She just gave this picture to the family. And this sweet boy, this woman happened to ask him, "Can I take your picture?" This is a different one with the mudguards on. So slightly earlier, I would say. Elvis loved his bike. If you look in this picture, it's the same bike, but he's removed the mudguards. So I'll just show you it again. And you can't really tell that well, but it's a cheeky little look on his face. Now, this is how we get to the real Elvis. The people that just happened upon him in the 50s, early 50s, while he was living with Gladys and Vernon on Old Sotillo Road, and that he would hang out and they would go to the local cinema and sneak in the cinema, jump over the barriers, because in those days there was segregation. And I would say even a bit later, because Elvis registered for the draft, I think before he was even 18, he registered, or maybe it was that when he was 18, he was allowed to register. Elvis wanted to serve his country. Elvis loved his country. And I would say that he had this little glimmer of fame when he walked into Sun Records, Memphis studios. And That's All Right Mama was this massive hit, this local hit that Dewey Phillips had played. And it just went round the world very quickly, very quickly. Elvis had sudden fame. And before he knew it, he was in the army, drafted into the army, doing his basic training. We know that he lost his mother very quickly whilst doing basic training. And I say this, that the people that really truly knew Elvis was in this period when he goes into the army and he makes some new friends. He wanted to be just like the rest, and he would do the maneuvers and the basic training. These people got to see the real Elvis. Obviously, heartbroken Elvis because he had lost his mother. But they got to see the core of Elvis, not the pizzazz, famous Elvis. And then he's in Germany, he's alone. I know he's got some of his friends and family around him, which made him feel better. Even Minnie May coming over because he liked the Southern cooking that she would do for him. These people are the ones that knew Elvis. So this is my point. Why is Priscilla the authority in discussing Elvis's life? How is that right? It's so unfair. So when I'm watching these Priscilla interviews, I'm like, you didn't really know him. You weren't there at the beginning. You weren't there. You didn't get a sense of the man, the true man, the spirit of the man, the essence of the man. I don't think Priscilla did that. So then when I watch these interviews and Priscilla's being asked all these different questions, and she does say some negative stuff and some good stuff, I'm like, you didn't really know him. So you literally spent your whole life, this is how I feel, going around different interviews all around the world in every country, talking about a man. Actually, I don't think she ever caught the essence of Elvis. Anyway, I'm going to play a couple of interviews. And again, when I watch these interviews, I'm like, I'm repeating myself. Why is she the one that is telling Elvis's story, Elvis's life? Why Priscilla? Why the Memphis Mafia, who betrayed him? Many of the members of the Memphis Mafia betrayed him. Now, I would say a lot of the girlfriends that Elvis had did not betray him and speak very highly of him. There's many interviews of ex-girlfriends of Elvis. They don't say a bad word about him. Not a bad word. And I will just add that Elvis never said a bad word about Priscilla, even through the bad times, through the divorce, through the unfaithfulness. You still hear Elvis praising Priscilla at his Vegas concerts. He almost blaming himself for the split up, saying that he traveled too much and that they were still good friends, which is so honorable of Elvis. But right, let me just play a couple of clips.
You lived his life. You honestly didn't have your own life.
Right. Now, I'm going to comment on these clips, guys.
This kind of...
I don't like that. I don't like that. Don't forget, she's been put on this podium to represent Elvis Presley. But millions still love Elvis. So they're looking to Priscilla to project an image of Elvis. But I would like to think that they do want her to say how nice he was, how caring he was, what a great man he was, how much he did for charity, how many people he helped, how he changed the world. But we don't hear that from Priscilla. I'll play it again for you one more time.
This kind of followed, what he did. I mean, you lived his life. You honestly didn't have your own life. You lived his life. You saw the movies he wanted to see. You listened to the music he listened to. You go to places that he would go. So you really kind of lost.
Let's play that bit. She's about to say, you lost yourself.
Did you ever try and kind of break out?
I know. I just want to hear that bit where she says that.
You really kind of lost yourself. Did you ever try and kind of break out?
You see that?
You really kind of lost yourself. Did you ever try and kind of break out?
I hate that. I hate that she says, you lived his life. You did what he wanted. It's so unfair to Elvis. That isn't what happened. They're together. She's moved over to America to live with Elvis. And supposedly she loves him or she's infatuated with him. So, of course, everything was together, whether it be going to the cinema or going roller skating or holiday. It doesn't matter what it is, day trips, holiday trips. Well, yeah, they were a couple. He was a mega star. So everything had to be done away from the public because otherwise, wherever he went, he was literally attacked, but in a good way. So yes, everything was done. You were sheltered from the world. And Priscilla had entered Elvis's world. She had moved to America, whether it be Graceland or one of the other homes. And Elvis was the most famous man in the world, the most famous man on the planet, especially around the time she moved over, 63. So she talks about the fact that she had to live and join in with Elvis's life like it was a bad thing, Why does she even have to say that? This bugs me, yeah? So I just want to say those few words again.
kind of lost yourself. Did you ever?
And she says that she lost herself. Why such horrible words? So she's basically saying, because I moved to America, which don't forget, that's exactly what she wanted to do. She was begging to move over. She was hounding Elvis to allow her to come to America. And her thanks to Elvis is that when she's talking about Elvis, and she's so lucky that anyone even lets her talk about him because of the circumstances of their breakup, her unfaithfulness, and the divorce settlements, two of them, are so horrible. The fact that she had sex with the dance instructor months after Lisa Marie was born, within a year of the marriage. So she's definitely in the wrong. The things that she did to Elvis in 68 was so cruel. But her answer is, you lived his life. I lost myself. I lost myself. How cruel is that, and how unfair is that? Let's play the next clip. So even that, now we know that the Memphis Mafia surrounded Elvis and had the time of their lives with Elvis. And as the years went on, they started to get married, and some of them were unfaithful. But I still, remember, she's there with Elvis. Now the Memphis Mafia, they're up to no good. They could have been with other women or alcohol, or maybe even drugs. But Elvis, at that time, Elvis wasn't doing it. The Memphis Mafia were doing it, and she was witness to it. Now, obviously, there's a whole story about Elvis was going off. If she's talking about the early 60s, he's off making his movies. And I do think in 63, 64, 65, that he was getting very close to his co-stars. And he did things, I think, that he shouldn't have done, based on the fact that he had moved Priscilla over. So if you've asked Priscilla to move to America and live with you, even though she did stay at Vernon's at first, I do think that Elvis, in his mind, was still completely single. In her mind, he wasn't. But the truth is, he was so young. He was in his early 20s and, mid-20s. And I just think, what did she expect? She's moved to America with a superstar, the most famous man in the world, who was also now making loads of movies, 2 or 3 movies a year. And it was Elvis Presley. But they weren't married, they weren't engaged. So she obviously had moved over with the hope that maybe one day they could get engaged, maybe one day they could get married. But she actually, believe it or not, was not his girlfriend at that moment. And I think most men in their early 20s, mid-20s, before they commit to a marriage, are testing the waters, aren't they? They're not sure because it's such a big deal. And even more so for Elvis Presley. But let me just show you the next clip.
And then when you divorced him, how did you find yourself? It was a journey. I'd never had therapy, but it was quite a journey. I didn't sign a check until I was 29 years old. Everything.
Right. So she just said that she didn't sign a check until she was 29. Well, I dispute that, because if you look at the divorce settlement, she definitely was given her own bank accounts. And you have to look this up yourself, guys. This is just my opinion. But I personally think that I catch Priscilla when I go through these interviews saying one thing, but then later saying another thing. So this is my opinion. I don't always agree with the reply she gives these interviewers.
Everything was there.
I'm hoping the kids don't come down, guys, but I really disagree with that. I really disagree with all of that. And I want to just wind it back and just do it in as she says it, guys.
And then when you divorced him, how did you find yourself? It was a journey. I'd never had therapy, but it was quite a journey. I didn't sign a check until I was 29 years old. Everything was.
And this whole thing that she didn't find herself, that she had, I suppose that she's saying, I think she's saying that she'd lost herself. Now, why? Why does Priscilla feel that because she moved to America to live with Elvis, that suddenly she didn't have a self? It doesn't make any sense. We're not talking about a 5-year-old girl here. We're talking about a woman in her late teens and even early 20s saying that she needed to find herself. It makes no sense. I don't understand it. It does not add up. Let's keep listening.
There for me, but it was as a woman, I didn't really know who I was.
Even that, I didn't know who I was. What is that? Please, any of you guys, you're welcome to comment. I didn't know who I was. Now, this is a girl that had a very busy teenage years. This is a girl that had moved from town to town because her father moved around a lot because of his job and his career. So what, all of a sudden at 17 to 18 years old, she moved to America. And then obviously this interview is covering a longer period. So 19, 20, 21. And I just don't get it that she's saying because she moved to America and literally went into this wonderland, Elvis gave her everything she could ever dream of. She was living a life of luxury, as much money as she could ever want, as many possessions as she could ever need, whether it be cars or motorbikes and clothes. And her thanks is to say, I lost myself. And then she goes on to say, he dressed me, he did my hair, told me how to walk, how to act. It's just rubbish. It's just rubbish. Yeah, he was her boyfriend and he would give her advice and she probably asked for it. He would tell her what looks good on her, how her hair looks nice, how her makeup looks nice, but that isn't forcing her. Now, I'm married. If my wife asks me what her hair looks like, I'll tell her what suits her. If my wife asks about her makeup or what she's wearing, then I'll just tell her what I think. Doesn't mean I'm controlling her or forcing her to dress, forcing her how to put her makeup on, forcing her how to look. It's just it literally is ridiculous. I'll just carry on playing that section. So I'm going to go through that again, but the ending there, guys, and we've discussed this so many times. Hi, Blue Bunny. Morning to you. Sorry, I was zoned out. Good morning to you. Thanks for joining in. And all the 15 of you that are watching, good morning to you. Now, did you hear that at the end of that comment, this short clip I'm playing? Oh, so you didn't have sex together? Because don't forget, we've all been told for the last 40 odd years that after the baby was born, Lisa Marie, that Elvis refused to have sex with her because he wouldn't have sex with a married woman. Now, we've already proved that this isn't true. We've already proved it, haven't we? The girl that he started seeing after Priscilla Susan Henning had a child, and was it Deborah Lee was the other one that had a child that Elvis had started seeing. But my point here is that don't forget, it's been insinuated for the last 40 odd years that he doesn't sleep with a woman, that he wouldn't sleep with Priscilla because she'd had a child. Yeah, and the whole world says this. Morning, how are we going? Morning, Judith. Hope you're well. So, part of the point of this live stream I'm doing this morning, guys, I can't do it that much longer because the kids will come down soon, is I'm trying to understand, why is Priscilla the authority to talk about Elvis? Why does everyone look to Priscilla to get information about Elvis? It's not fair. She doesn't know his whole life. She wasn't there in the early 50s. The short time that she came over to America, because as far as I'm concerned, by the time we get to 1968, and she's been unfaithful with Steve Peck after having Lisa Marie a year after the wedding, there's no relationship. So she only really knew Elvis for a short period of time, and a lot of the time they hardly were even talking. So I struggle with the fact that she has been given this platform to speak about Elvis for the last 40 odd years, and she's still doing it now, as if they were best friends, really close, deeply in love, still married. It's completely unfair on Elvis. This woman shouldn't be allowed to be the only person that's really talking about Elvis, like as if they were still married. It's so wrong. And I'm trying to go back over some of these comments and just to show people that how unfair she has been in these comments. And we've already proved in this, I've just shown you guys, she's admitted they were still having sex after Lisa Marie was born. They were. So we have found a lie. This is at the end of that comment. Let's go back to the beginning of it because I want to go through it.
Everything was there for me, but it was as a woman, I didn't really know who I was.
And Elvis advised you on how
so
to...
that just drives me mad. That drives me mad. Why didn't she know who she was? Why? So she's moved to Graceland. She was nearly 18 when she moved there. We know she'd been there for a couple of holidays. But what? Why? So she moves to Graceland. Elvis welcomes her to his world. Yeah. And then suddenly she doesn't know who she was. What is that? And all I can see is that she's trying to play the victim. She's trying to get attention. Like, poor me. I moved to Graceland and oh no, I lost myself. Come on, guys. Does anyone fall for it? And the problem is, us fans can see through it. But these interviewers, there's 4 ladies here on Loose Woman in the UK, and they've all fallen for it. They're all buying into it. They're like, oh, poor you. Oh, how did you go through that? It must have been difficult. It must have been terrible for you. I'm like, come on, girls. Interviewers, you're professional journalists, and you're being sucked in. You're being suckered by Priscilla's BS, innit? BS. It just drives me mad. Let's keep listening.
Your hair, how to do your makeup, how to
Everything,
dress.
even my clothes, everything. I realized that I don't know who I am. I mean,
Do you see that? Do you hear that, guys? This is a more playing the victim, more getting sympathy. Playing the victim, getting sympathy. It infuriates me. This is exactly why we have to stand up for Elvis, because he can't defend himself. He can't jump in on these interviews. This is in the UK. She's doing this around the world in every country. Yeah. So who's going to jump in and stick up for Elvis when she's saying these kind of things? And there's no one, because the interviewers are all believing every word she says.
Even my clothes, everything. I realized that I don't know who I am.
How can you not know who you are? I'd get it if she was 7 years old. How can you not know who you are when you're 18, 19, 20, 21? It's ridiculous. It infuriates me.
My considerations were his considerations. My fears were his fears. My likes were his likes.
What is that? So everything that she felt and thought was his. That's just crazy. It's crazy. It's like, so does that mean because me and my wife are married, everything that she feels and likes is me? It doesn't add up. It just doesn't. I'm going to play that few seconds.
In a conversation.
I'll play that few seconds again.
My considerations were his considerations. My fears were his fears. My likes were his likes.
What is that? Guys, is it just me saying this? What is that? My likes were his likes. Huh? It's like, no, you're a human being. You're an individual. If you like the color red, you like the color red. If you like a certain song in the charts, you like that song. If you like sausages, you like sausages. Doesn't mean they're Elvis's likes. Good morning, Adrian. Listen to Mike Stone's side of the story. He clears up rumors and misunderstanding. Well, I tell you what, I watched a Mike Stone interview last night, a very long one that was sent to me by Solid Heroes? Was it Gio that sent it me? And I learned a lot. From that. And she pursued Mike Stone. She went out of her way. And he even admits it, that she traveled 55 minutes and made sure that she had her karate lessons with Mike Stone, as many as 4 to 5 a week. You imagine that? 4 to 5 a week. And she had to drive nearly an hour every time she went. Mike Stone even said, yeah, thanks. It is Geo, isn't it? I watched it. I listened to it thoroughly. And she's out of order. She even, when she didn't even know him and had never spoke to him before, even butted into his conversation and joined into his conversation. And he was taken aback that Priscilla was joining into this conversation just out of the blue. She just come along, hi, and joined in on a conversation. She fancied Mike Stone. She fancied him, and she made sure she was going to get him. And this is in 1971. This is the latter part after May in 1971. This is the type of woman that when she wants something, she's going to get it. And she'll use her beauty, because she was a beautiful woman, very hard to resist for any man. And she will use her charm and her beauty to get what she wants, even if it meant being unfaithful to Elvis, being unfaithful to Lisa Marie, risking the marriage, because it obviously led to a divorce, breaking up a family. She was going to get what she wanted to. And I'm going to put it straight to you guys. She fancied the pants off Mike Stone, and she was going to get him. She was going to get naked with Mike Stone. It was happening. She was on a mission. And it's just so wrong and so unfair that she is portrayed as this poor victim that has done no wrong, and that Elvis was the bad guy. Elvis was the unfaithful person. No, guys. If you look at her behavior from 67 to right up until she pursued Mike Stone in the middle of 71, she was out of order. Out of order. But anyway, I'm going to, that's all right, Mama, Elvis party cruise in London today. Whoa, Adrian, I wish I was coming. I'd love to go there, Adrian. Please tell people about our great channel that we share. I'm so proud of it. Please let people know. Yeah, I thought it was Gio. She knew who she was since she was 14 because she planned the meeting with Elvis and used the Cary Grant to get him, and she was full of control and everything. Exactly. And obviously you're referring to this as well. Yeah, Gio? And come on. All this, I didn't know who I was, and really bugs me, really annoys me. And let's just play a bit more.
In a conversation, I found myself revealing things that he would say to me. So
how old were you when you felt you put your own stamp on who you were, your identity?
27.
Wow.
27. I just...
So she's saying she didn't find her identity until she was 27, and that she's just said that she didn't sign a check. She didn't have her own checkbook until she was 29, which is bull. But come on, who needs until they're 27 to find their identity? This is so unfair on Elvis. She's basically saying because I was with Elvis, I had no identity. It's just it drives me mad. But oh yeah, so it's the 70 years of That's All Right, Mama, Adrian. Wow. I'll get in the car now and I'll climb aboard. Yeah. Yeah, let's spread the words. Spread our movement, Adrian. This is a movement we are in together to defend Elvis. And you're going to come across some Priscilla fans, Adrian, so you're going to probably have to change their mind on a few things. That's right, Blue Bunny. It's just crazy.
And I did not divorce him because I didn't love him. He was the love of my life, truly. If anything...
How? It doesn't add up. He was the love of my life, right? Now remember the divorce situation, which comes from really her being unfaithful with Steve Peck just after the baby was born, just after the marriage, and then moving forward 18 months, and she's in bed with Mike Stone. That's really why they divorced. No other reasons, yeah? And because Elvis, during the time of the marriage, was, in my opinion, was faithful. I'm on about 66 December when they got engaged. Then the marriage, then the 9-month pregnancy, and then you've got the birth of Lisa Marie. That period, I believe that Elvis had committed himself and said, I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to be a good husband and a good father. But I also believe that the minute he caught her with Steve Peck, because it was literally a couple of months after the baby was born, so end of March, he's caught her. You can imagine what that put him through, how he felt. And then after that, there was no relationship. It was a broken marriage. It was game over. And Elvis was getting on with his life. And anything that happened after that was a charade until they finally did split up around 1971. And people have told me that she had actually moved out by mid to late 1971. She was out. Even though the divorce happened in 73, she was out. And Elvis, there's no way Elvis was not going to divorce her. When Elvis caught her with Mike Stone, he was going to get a divorce. But he did it in a respectful way, which is why this rubbish goes around that they had stayed friends after the divorce. I completely do not believe they stayed friends after the divorce. I think Elvis was civil and respectful because he was in the public eye. He wanted to look good and he wanted to do the right thing for Lisa Marie. That's what that was about. Secretly, behind the scenes, Elvis was pulling his hair out, couldn't believe what she was getting away with. And so wrong, so unfair. Right, so I just want to carry on and see if I can quickly play these couple of clips before the kids come down. Right, let's have a look at this one. Let's have a look.
But what the greatest thing about our relationship is that we still loved each other. And then when
Right.
But what the greatest thing about our relationship is that we still loved each other.
Was you devastated when you went?
It was a shock. It was a shock.
Did you see that, guys?
After you...
So, doesn't that just make you laugh, guys? That she's saying they still loved each other, even though she had... We know the 68 comeback special, that by then it was over, really. Yeah. But she had run off with Mike Stone, and she's saying they still loved each other. There's no way she loved Elvis. The way she went after Mike Stone, there is no way that she loved Elvis. And Elvis, I think, was in complete shock. Elvis was in complete shock. And I think he was in shock for a few years. He couldn't believe that he was starting to get to see Priscilla's true colours. This dark side to Priscilla that she had kept hidden from him. So to say that they still loved each other is just ridiculous.
Everything was there for me, but it was.
Right.
But what the greatest thing about our relationship is that we still loved each other.
Was you devastated when you went?
It was a shock. It was a shock.
But sexually...
Do you see that? Do you see that? Were you devastated when you went? What is that? What is that, guys? He caught her. Forget Steve Peck, the dance instructor. Let's go to Mike Stone. He caught her seeing Mike Stone because this affair had been going on secretly for a while before he found out. When he did find out, they were over. It wasn't him leaving. It was her leaving. Because once she had made it clear that she liked Mike Stone and she wanted a divorce, because she told him in 72 she wanted a divorce, even though it was Elvis that was demanding the divorce. She also wanted it. So what is that? It doesn't add up. It wasn't that Elvis left. It was that he had caught her. But she's not saying this. In these interviews, she is not saying this.
Had your daughter. He didn't want to sleep with you.
No, we slept together.
Right, let me just go back again on that bit. So remember, so this is where she's been caught out with the lies. So you had your daughter and he didn't want to sleep with you. That's what the interviewer says. Remember, we've always been given the impression that Elvis would not sleep with someone that had had a baby. Now let's listen to this.
No, we slept together.
He's carried on having...
I'll say it again. I'll go back again. See? There it is, guys. I'll drink a bit of tea to that. My hair's getting grey. I need to dye my hair. I'm going to dye my hair black tomorrow. I want my black hair back. Hi, Tina. She's not buried beside Elvis because that's what she is after. Tina, where are you? Because you're a new name to me. Tina McMichael, where are you? Let me know where you are. Nice to meet you. Welcome to our family. We're all very like-minded here. We all have the same goal, to search for the truth, to defend Elvis. And we're trying to find not just Priscilla Presley's lies, in our opinions. We're trying to find anyone that is saying negative things about Elvis that are not true. We're going to defend him. We're going to be united in his defense. That's where we are, and we are one little family, and this is our channel. It's not my channel, it's our channel. Right, let's just see what comes up. Let's see. So, just trying to get it to play, but okay, it's not doing it. But we've got
It's very private.
Right.
I was the girl that, was kept back.
That must have been horrible for you.
It was terrible. It was.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to show this, so I'm not going to let you see it because I don't want to be copyrighted. But I'm going to
It's
play
very
it.
private. I was the girl that, was kept back.
That must have been horrible for you.
It was terrible. It was. I got used to it, but then I eventually started to visit.
So she says, I was the girl that was held back. This is very brief here. It's a Jonathan Ross interview in the UK. And she basically is saying that she was held back. Now, what is that? What is that? So Louisiana, hi then. Yes, tea time, morning. Just the fact that she says that she was held back, I would say the complete opposite. I would say the complete opposite, that when she moved to America and joined Elvis's world, there was no holding back. There was pushing forward. Elvis got her into loads of things. Elvis arranged for her to have many different lessons and helped arrange for her to be educated as well. She was definitely not held back. In fact, every opportunity Priscilla has had ever since she met Elvis is because of Elvis. So it's just rubbish. Hello, all my Elvis family. Hello. I'm just tuning in now. Hi, Monica. Welcome to your family. So you've missed quite a lot, unfortunately, but we are discussing interviews that Priscilla has given, and we're breaking them down. A big thing of what I'm trying to say is that how is it fair that Priscilla is the person that everyone goes to find out things about Elvis? All the interviewers, all the news interviewers around the world, they all go to Priscilla to learn about Elvis, and it's just so wrong. It's so wrong. I don't even think Priscilla knew the true Elvis. So let's see if I can get some of these to work. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. There was one I think I'm going to have to go to the actual...
It's very private. I was the girl that, was kept back.
Let's see if I can get the actual interview, because what it is, I have a certain bit I wanted to show you guys. Let's see if I can find it. Right.
With him, but still very reserved and very much, not out in the public LA. And it was very private. I was young. I was young.
Right, let's
live for that period of time and then decide to get married. What inspired you then why did you change the arrangement?
Oh, well, I was young. I was young, and his career was just getting back together. He came back from the service in 60, I believe, and then, had to get back into the groove. And, even though he was still very popular, it was best that he didn't get married right away. And I think that was...
I see. So they so even though you had a relationship going on, they kind of kept it that he was...
Oh, it was very private. I was the girl that, was kept back.
That must have been horrible for you.
It was terrible. It was. I got used to it, but then I started eventually.
Did you hear that, guys?
It was very private.
So remember what he says. He says that must have been horrible for you, and she then says it was terrible. Yeah. So remember, she's talking about her life with Elvis. It was terrible, and that's why I wanted to just show that clip.
I was the girl that was kept back.
That must have been horrible for you.
It was terrible. It was. I got used to it, but then I eventually started to visit LA.
See?
And I would spend, 4 or 5.
And she goes on to say that she went on to visit LA. Poor Priscilla, that she got into this life with Elvis. She managed to get her way to move over to America, join in on Elvis's amazing life, which must have been absolutely, how can I say it? Come on, guys. Wouldn't we have all loved that? We could have been part of Elvis's life. The one thing the Memphis Mafia do say is they literally have the time of their lives. Even when you talk to the girlfriends of Elvis that he had over the years, they all speak about how amazing it was. But not Priscilla. Poor me. I couldn't find myself. He was the love of my life, but I'd lost myself. I couldn't do anything. I wasn't allowed to choose how I did my hair or makeup myself, even though I have found interviews with Priscilla saying that she loved her hair. She loved the heavy makeup. She loved the way they dressed. She loved the lifestyle in LA, California, and all the amazing things they did. But oh no, not now. You look at the interviews now and it's all poor me, poor me. Oh, I went through this. I lost myself. I didn't have my life. I had no sense of who I was. Guys, we're getting the point of this. And you know what? When I watch these things, I just think, poor Elvis. I really do. I just think, hi, you okay, Blue Bunny? And I just think, poor Elvis. Imagine Elvis in heaven, yeah? And all these thousands of interviews have gone on around the world, yeah? And she's painting him out in this very unfair, bad light that makes him out to be this groomer, this controlling person, this abusive person with a bad temper that had a drug problem, and that he was the serial unfaithfulness person. How do we put that? That he was running around trying to be as unfaithful as he possibly could. But she doesn't say, like one of the clips I found, I wanted to show that clip. Yes, I'm going to go back and try and find it. One of the clips just reminded me. One of the clips I found, guys, was the interviewer saying to her, "Oh, you must have gone through the best time of your life in 1968 when Elvis was doing the comeback special." Now, as an outsider, I get it, because the comeback special, let's face it, completely turned Elvis's life around when it comes to his music career. Elvis was back. The Beatles had taken it from him, and as soon as he did the comeback special, he made the Beatles look like nothing. But my point, so for his career, after the 68 comeback special, Elvis was doing that, yeah? But, and Jonathan Ross asks this question, 68 must have been a great year for you because you've just had Lisa Marie, you've recently been married, and then Elvis comes back with the 68 special. But we know, guys, that a different story, because we know that in March 68, Elvis had just caught her, early March, had just caught her being unfaithful with Steve Peck 6 to 7 weeks after the baby was born. 6 to 7 weeks after the baby was born in 1968, in less than a year after the wedding, she has been caught being unfaithful with the guy who owned the dance studio, the dance instructor, and Lisa Marie is just a few months old, 7, 8, 10 weeks old, and Elvis has just caught her. So when Jonathan Ross says to her, 68 must have been a great year for you because of the comeback special, she agrees. She went, yeah, oh yes. Then she starts talking about the comeback special, proudly boasting about the success of the comeback special. But guys, we know that for Elvis, personally, in his personal life with Priscilla Presley, was the worst year of his life. The worst year of his life. Yes, he went on to massive success. But what happened in March 1968 was a massive, devastating blow that Elvis finally knew who Priscilla was. Priscilla had finally shown her true colors. She was capable of being unfaithful to her husband weeks after the baby was born. Weeks after the baby was born. And that is the truth. So one Jonathan Ross is saying, oh, you know that.
With him, but still,
Let me see if,
best that he didn't get married.
Let me see if I can find it.
You lived for that period of time and then decided to get.
That's good.
Now you lived with Elvis for I think 5 years before you got married to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now why did you live for that period?
It was very private. I'm LA, and I would spend.
There's so many things I could ask you about. Let me fast forward to the year 1968.
Right, here we go.
This was, I would have thought,
this
a
is
great
important.
year for both you and.
Now, I'm warning you guys, it might get copyrighted and they might just remove that clip, but I want to play it because I think it's so crucial.
So it was all kept quiet.
Kept quiet.
There's so many things I could ask you about. Let me fast forward to the year 1968 because this was, I would have thought, a great year for both you and for Elvis.
Did you hear that? This was a great year for both you and Elvis. Remember this, guys. We know, and it's been proven, and she's admitted it, but I'm still going to say, in our opinion, that in 1968 she was unfaithful to Elvis. Just after Lisa Marie was born, less than a year after the marriage, and Elvis was faithful in that year. I'm on about 67 and early 68. Elvis was faithful. Elvis wasn't unfaithful until after he caught her being unfaithful, and that was in March 68. Yeah, and this right. Let's play it because I can hear the kids are going to come down in a minute, so I want to do this quickly.
There's so many things I could ask you about. Let me fast forward to the year 1968 because this was, I would have thought, a great year for both you and for Elvis for any number of reasons. Not least because that was the year, of course, you had your daughter,
right?
And also that was the year he kind of came back with that TV special,
exactly,
which is now known.
Do you hear that? He asks her the question. This was a great year for you, especially because you had Lisa Marie, and she says, right, yeah, no, because she was sleeping with Steve Peck, the dance instructor, at that time. It was not a great year. It was the worst year of Elvis's life up to March. Now, after that, Elvis turned things around for him for his career, but he still had to go through the horrific things that he was finding out about his wife, the woman who has just had his baby. Bearing in mind, he worshipped Lisa Marie, so the mold had been broken. The fake marriage has been exposed. The fake Priscilla, in our opinion, my opinion, has been exposed. And Elvis had to live with this every day. You imagine how he felt. Poor, sensitive Elvis, caring, loving Elvis that worshipped his wife and his child has suddenly found out that she has been unfaithful just after the baby was born.
Special, but it wasn't seen as that at the time necessarily, or was it?
It was a singer special. It was supposed to be for Christmas. And it was a first where he was singing around. He had Steve Bender who produced the show, and Elvis was extremely nervous.
I'm going to leave it at that, guys, because I want to go off. But she then goes on to speak about Steve Bender and the success of the 68 comeback. But that says it all, guys. That says it all. The interviewer, says 68 must have been the best year ever for you. She agrees, but we know that it was a completely different truth. A completely different truth. Let's just see if I want to play it one more time because it means so much to me.
Necessarily, or was it?
It was a singer special. It was supposed to be for Christmas.
He kind of came back with that TV special.
Exactly.
Which is, because this was, I would have thought, a great year for both you and for Elvis for any number. There's so many things I could ask you about. Let me fast forward to the year 1968 because this was, I would have thought, a great year for both you and for Elvis for any number of reasons. Not least because that was the year, of course, you had your daughter,
right? And
also that was the year he kind of came back with that TV special,
exactly,
which is now known as the comeback special, but it wasn't seen as that at the time necessarily, or was it?
It was a singer special. It was supposed to be for Christmas.
Okay, guys, I'm going to end it with that. I'm probably going to wait for the kids to go out. I'll probably come back quite soon and do a part 2 of this. But guys, a lot to ponder on. Thanks for all joining in. Thanks, Blue Bunny and Tina. Tina, you're very welcome. And Adrian, have a brilliant day, Adrian, on your cruise in London. You're celebrating your 70 years. That's all right, Mama. I'm so jealous. I wish we could be with you. I wish we could all come. Thanks, Gio. And Gio helped me out with the Mike Stone interview. Appreciate that. And then we've got ED008UE. Please let me know your name so I can call you by your name. Thanks, Judith. for joining in. Judith, one of our members. Obviously, you guys, if you want to be a member, just click the member button. Please subscribe, because 78% of you are not subscribed. So it's really important you subscribe, and then hit the notification bell. So when we go live, we can come together quickly. And if you want to buy me a coffee, guys, click the buy me a coffee button. And the membership, it's not about the money. It's only 99 cents a month. It's just your way of saying to me, you like what I do. That's all it is. I'm not trying to get your money, guys. But it is important to me that you subscribe. I want us to know each other. Remember, we're a growing family in a growing movement. And this is not my channel. This is our channel. We're here to defend Elvis. We're here to search for the truth. And we are united in defense of Elvis. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you joining in with me this morning. Wherever you are in the world, thank you. And a lot of you will wake up later and watch this. Good morning to you. So as you're waking up, guys, good morning to you. And let me know where you're from. Thanks, guys. Take care.